So I have come out to the beautiful Osceola National Forest to film a video that I think will be interesting. So, which is better, a name brand onboard compressor or a heavy duty portable compressor from a lesser known brand? Some of the name brands carry a lot of credibility. You can get one cylinder, dual cylinder. There's a lot of different things. You can get a tank, a small tank that you can fill, which is what I have, very, very small. There's a lot of functionality there. Or you can get one of the compressors that's not mounted to your vehicle, still heavy duty. And in the case of many, they'll come in a carrying case, and you can take it from vehicle to vehicle. You can take it out of your vehicle and bring it to camp. Maybe there are things you want to inflate at camp. So there's a lot of different functionality, a lot of different flexibilities, but which is better when it really comes to inflating or re-inflating your tires, which for most people who go off-roading, that's the main concern. When they have to lower their tire pressures because they get into, less than perfect conditions on the roads. Maybe it's muddy, maybe it's rocky, maybe they just want to get a little more traction on some slick rock, whatever the case may be. When they lower their tire pressures, eventually they got to reinflate the tires. Which one is a better option for that purpose? That's what we're going to test today. I'm going to put up a compressor which was sent to me to try and review. It seems very well made. I'm going to show it to you in just a moment, against a name brand mounted compressor, or a compressor that's mounted in my vehicle. And I'll show you that too. Neither one of them have given me any money. The compressor that was sent to me was to review and try, and I'm going to give you an honest opinion. So let's see what happens. So this is the compressor that I'm going to stack up against, or check and see how it stacks up against, my onboard dual cylinder compressor. I'll show you here some of the specs on it. It's 60 millimeters, 180 LPM flow rate, 25-foot rubber hose, and a carry bag, all included with this compressor. Let's see what it looks like. All right, let's see what we've got here in this bag. Now, brand new, haven't even opened it. Let's see what we got here. Heavy duty. I'm impressed here. This is a nice heavy duty rubber hose. And it looks like it comes with, pressure gauge built into it. So that's pretty cool. Heavy duty hose, pressure gauge built into it. Let's get in here. Try to keep that out of the mud. And here is the compressor itself. Looks pretty good. It's heavy duty, all metal housing. This foot, or this base, could be mounted permanently to your vehicle via some of these holes here. It's fairly straightforward. It's got a circuit breaker built into it in case that ever trips. You can replace it on, off. Let's see how it goes. So what I'm going to do, okay, so let me show you the compressor that we're going to put that mobile compressor up against, and that is this one. It is the ARB air compressor. This is the dual cylinder. And honestly, I don't know all the specifications. It's been under the hood for several years now. It's been a beast. I've got this little tiny tank. I don't know if that's always used in this application. Braided line going to the tank. Here is the place that I connect my air hose. So what I'm going to do is this. So the plan is this, and there are many, many variables when you do any kind of test like this, and I've done some thinking to try to minimize the variables as much as can possibly be so, and this is what I'm going to do. Tell me in the comments where you think I've still gone wrong and what makes this not an adequate test of the two products, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to deflate the same tire down to the same PSI, and then I'm going to use each of the compressors to reinflate it to the desired PSI. So what I'm planning on doing is to deflate the passenger side front tire under some weight with the engine and everything. Honestly, the rear of my vehicle is not much lighter. I'm going to deflate the passenger front tire down to 20 PSI. Heck, I may go ahead and go to 15. Let's bring it down to 15 PSI. Then I'm going to use each compressor separately, obviously, to see how long it will take to get the tire reinflated to the correct PSI, which I'm not even certain. I think I'm running like 32 in those right now. So whatever that is, I'll make sure it's clear. So how long will it take for the compressor to reinflate the tire to the desired PSI? Same for both. I'm going to have the compressor turned on, connected to the battery with my engine running in both cases, so they're getting the same amount of power flowing to them, theoretically. And we're going to see which one does better. Something else we're going to check is how hot do they get, right? I mean, for example, if the portable one gets so hot that you have to let it cool down for 20 minutes, that's something to think about. Does the ARB under my hood get extremely hot too? If so, maybe not, because you've got the permanent mounting option with that portable compressor as well. So that's what we're going to do. So let me start by deflating the tire down to 15 PSI to begin the test with the first compressor. So this is how I'm going to start with my trusted ARB recovery deflator. And this is something I've had for several years now. I had it when I still had the old Land Cruiser 80 series. Served me well, and it continues to serve well. I have thought about getting one of those deflators that will allow you to deflate multiple tires at the same time. Just haven't done it yet. Maybe I will one day. I will say at times there have been occasions when I thought, I probably should deflate my tires, but I talked myself out of it because I just had this one. Maybe I need to get one of those and make it simpler. If you don't know how to use one of these, there's many videos. I recommend checking out one of Ronnie Dahl's. He explains how to use these deflators. And anyway, really just makes it simple. I decided to make it more interesting. I deflated down to 10 PSI. And so now I'm going to start with the ARB, connect it using the same hose that I'm going to connect to the other compressor. Let's take away that variability. Same hose, different compressors, and we're going to see how long it takes me to get back up to the correct tire pressure. Let's see. Time to energize the ARB. Discovered a slight inconsistency in the way I wanted to do this. So the compressor that I am testing against the ARB, its output is a male adapter. The ARB, the connection point, is a female adapter. So the end of my hose, there's ARB filling up. The end of my hose for the ARB is male, and the end of the hose that goes to the other compressor is female. So I'm not going to be able to use the same hose. I could try to string together some adapters, but that seems kind of hokey. So I'm going to use their own hoses with each, and maybe that's a fair test too. I have a high pressure hose that I keep in my vehicle all the time to use with ARB. I'm going to use the hose that came with the other compressor. I believe it's, I'll figure out how to say it in a minute. The other compressor that I'm testing, I'll use the one that came with it. Frankly, I kind of like that hose because it's got a locking mechanism to keep it on the valve stem, which I could get for my hose. And it's also got a built-in tire pressure gauge, which is handy. Let's go with the ARB and see how long it takes me to get it up. So obviously there's a lot of fumbling around and other stuff going on, but there we are, a little over 2 minutes, even with me having to stop and check the pressure with a pressure gauge, a pocket pressure gauge. A little over 2 minutes. That is impressive. Now I'm going to deflate the tire again, and I'm going to use the other compressor, which this will be my first time use, to see how it does. Can it beat the 2 minutes and 3 seconds, even with my fumbling around? I'm interested to see. Hey, I want to share a little tip. When you disconnect your compressor, if you just go over there and disconnect that hose right now, it's going to potentially blow out, hit something underneath your hood, maybe even hit you in the teeth or the face. You don't want to mess up your money maker, you know what I'm saying? So the first thing you want to do to keep yourself safe is to turn off the power to the compressor, which I will do right now. Now, the next thing I'll do is let the air out of the line before I disconnect it. And how do you do that? Well, you just grab the hose and squeeze the air out. Now you're good. So now, when I disconnect the hose, it comes out nice and safely. Pro tip, people. Maybe it's not a pro tip, maybe it's a tip I learned the hard way, but you don't have to learn it the hard way. Remember, turn off the power to your compressor, let the air out of the line before you disconnect the hose. You don't want to get hit in the teeth. That happened to me, but thankfully my lips were protected the suckers. Okay, so this is what we've got. We've got the compressor sitting there because I don't want it down in the mud. And that, you know, hey, that's a consideration. If this thing is not permanently mounted, do you want to get it filthy and get it back in your vehicle? That's something to consider. If you mount it permanently, you wouldn't have to worry about that. So anyway, got it sitting on the box that came in. Got the the air hose connected. I don't have it connected to the tire yet because I want it to be a fair fight. I want it to be similar. I've got the alligator clips connected to the battery. That's not corrosion, people. That is anti-corrosion chemical, so don't worry about that. I'm going to crank the engine, same as I did last time. And then, in fact, I think I'm going to disconnect it, crank the engine, then reconnect it. Then I'm going to connect it to my tire and then turn it on. I do think I'm going to have an advantage with this one because it's got a pressure gauge built into it. I lowered the tire down to PSI, same as I did last time. I checked it with 2 tire gauges, the one that's built into the ARB, and also the pressure gauge that I have in my pocket here. One of these little bad boys. So here we go. Okay, 10 PSI. Let's get this thing going here. Got it reset. I'm gonna hit start and then go. You ready? Let's go. So here we are at 30. Yeah, here we are at right at 30. So here's the deal. My GoPro battery ran out right as I was finishing that up, but the original compressor, the first one, was a minute quicker than the Gobege or Gobege. I'm not exactly sure how to say it. I'll see if I can find out from the people who sent it to me. So there's a lot of different variables that you need to factor in. Why don't you tell me in the comments, what are some of the variables that affected my test? But let's just say that everything equal, it took a minute longer to refill my tire. And I had to deflate or reinflate 4 tires. So what that means is that this compressor would take me 4 minutes longer to reinflate all 4 tires. You know, 1 minute longer at each tire. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, what's 4 minutes? I mean, you know, if you're in a super hurry, I could see that being problematic. But generally speaking, 4 minutes is not a big deal. And really, if you had one of those other devices that allows you to fill up all 4 of your tires at once, and you had a firm connection, and I was more familiar with the compressor, it's possible that I could shave off some time there. But all in all, even if it really takes 4 minutes to reinflate all 4 tires, a minute longer per tire, I don't know. The savings on that compressor compared to the ARB are also significant. In fact, I'll post up a link here in the comments of this video, in the description of this video, explaining what those are. And I'll put some information up here as well on the screen, what it costs to get the ARB twin cylinder compressor versus what it costs to get that compressor. And you can make a comparison for yourself. But if you're interested in that, there's a lot of different markets. I had a Smitty-built compressor that was built along the same lines as that. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it to a good friend of mine when I got this vehicle because I had the built-in onboard ARB compressor. I no longer needed that Smitty-built compressor. But, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that thing. I think it's a good compressor, and especially when you consider the value and the money to be saved and the portability of it. Just take it from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. If that's not what you want to do, you can mount it inside your vehicle. No big deal. Also, it's got alligator clips. You could change that up. You could cut them off, put an Anderson plug, or you could, you know, if you're going to keep it mounted permanently in your vehicle, you could hardwire it, you know. Wire it right to a fuse, right to the Blue Sea fuse panel I have in the back of the Rum Runner. That's what I would do, and just screw it down to something. So that certainly would work too. So I hope this is useful to you. If you're thinking about getting a compressor, my advice to you is just get one. Get whatever you can afford, even if it's a cheapo Filippo. I do think that under heavy duty, you know, reinflating 4 tires by 20 PSI each, it's really going to be stressing out one of those cheap compressors. But the middle of the range, one like this one here, why not? Just get a compressor. Even if you don't often deflate your tires or lower your pressures when you go off-road, you still need a compressor. It's just basic get yourself out of trouble gear that you should have in your vehicle. So get one for you. I hope you find this useful. Let me know what questions you have. I'm going to think how else I could test this thing. Maybe there are some other things. You know, maybe I should test something besides tires. Maybe I should see, you know, how long it would take to blow up a pool float or something. I don't know. You tell me what I should do. Let me do some more testing on this. My first impression is it's a good product. Not as quick as my current compressor, but maybe I need to practice with it and try a little more. I unboxed it and used it for the first time today. Heavy duty, high quality. I don't see anything wrong with it. I really do like that hose has the clamp on feature and also has the pressure gauge built into it. That's pretty cool. I may get a hose like that for the Rum Runner just to have, you know, in my kit as well. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I have done several review videos. They're pretty popular. I've also done some videos about trips I've gone on. They're sort of popular depending on the location. I do some cooking videos, but the videos that a lot of people really seem to enjoy are when I make gentle fun of some of my off-road counterparts in the other side of the world. So if you're interested in seeing any of my parody videos, I'll put up that playlist here. If you're interested in seeing my review videos, you should be able to find those easy as well. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.